Today we're going to talk about estimating non-perfect squares. So we know a perfect square is the product of a rational number multiplied by itself. So it's any number times itself. So let's just go through and refresh ourselves from today. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared, 16, 5 squared, 25, 6 squared, 36, 7 squared, 49, 8 squared, 64, 9 squared, 81, 10 squared, 100, 11 squared, 121, 12 squared, 144, 13 squared, 169, 14 squared, 196. These are my two favorites. 15 squared, 225, and 16 squared, 256. So we're going to refer to this table and also the number line we created yesterday. Okay, so those are going to be pretty important because we're going to approximate them when they're not whole numbers. So here we look at our first example. We have where should you place square root of 78 on a number line? So we want to choose the perfect squares that's less than 78. So I'm going to look at my number line up here, or we could also look over here. I kind of like looking over here. So I want to figure out where 78 would go. So if you're counting, like 78 obviously is in between 16 and 25. It's not between 25 and 36. It's not between 49 and 64. It's between 64 and 81. If I were to count on a number line, 78 would sit in between here. So, and also we can notice it'd be after 64 but before 81. So I know it's going to be, it's after 64, but it's before 81. And then all I have to do is just find the square roots of those numbers. The square root of 64 is 8. The square root of 81 is 9. So I know the square root of 78 is between 8 and 9. So the number is going to be 8 point something. Okay, and later on this week we'll learn how to find that something without a calculator. But very rarely do you use it without a calculator. But knowing just where it sits on the number line is key. All right, so let's do a little practice. So I want to find 110 is between what two numbers? So 110 would fit between 100 and 21. So I'm going to look between my square roots. So it's between 10 and 11. It's key, they have to be consecutive. Consecutive means back to back. So if I wrote like 100 here and 121 here, 100 and 121 aren't numbers right next door to each other on a number line. So square root of 150. So I'm going to look over here. 150 would fit between 144 and 169. So I take the square roots of those numbers, and I'm going to get 12 and 13. Again, they have to be right next door to each other. All right, square root of 40. So I'm going to look for 40, and that would sit between 36 and 49. So I know it's going to be between 6 and 7. All right, square root of 200. So 200 would be after 196, but before 225. So I've got to square root both of those, and I know it's going to be 14 and 15. All right, square root of 70. Let's look over here. 70 is going to be after 64, but before 81, so I know it's going to be between 8 and 9. All right, 230. So 230 is going to be after 225, but before 256. So I know it's going to be between 15 and 16. Square root of 50. I'm going to look over here again. 50 is right after 49, but before 64. So it's going to be between 7 and 8. All right, square root of 122. All right, oh, so close. So I know it's going to be really like 11.01 or something like that, because it's really close to 121, so I know it's going to be between 11 and 12. All right, square root of 60. So I'm going to look over here. 60 is between 49 and 64 on a number line, so I know it's going to be between, you guessed it, 7 and 8. All right, and again, we can have numbers like you see how 7 and 8 is between 50 and 60. You can have the same number twice, that's fine. All right, 10. 10 is right after 9, before 16, so we know it's going to be between 3 and 4. All right, 550. Oh dear, square root of 550. How would we do that? So there's one thing we could do is we can guess and check, because obviously that's not going to be on a number line. So we can guess and check, and I'm going to just tell you right now, it's 23 and 24. Okay, and we'll learn how to do this with the approximating method, would be much easier. All right, 30, sorry. 30 is going to be between 25 and 36, so we're going to be between 5 and 6. Okay, all right, so we have to find 270. So we know 270 right now, we know it's after 16, but I don't know what 17 is. So I'm going to figure out what 17 times 17 is, and I know that is going to be 289. So I know 289, 270 is after 256, but before 289, so I know it's going to be between 16 and 17. All right. Square root of 500, I know it's going to be between 22 and 23. We'd have to do a little guess and check to help with that. Square root of 85, it's going to be after 81 but before 100, so we know it's going to be between 9 and 10. And last one, we have square root of 190. And I'll look for 190. Oh, I would fit between these two numbers, so 13 and 14. Okay. So what you're going to do right now is you're going to jump over and take a short quiz on estimating. So then tomorrow when we work in groups, I know where to place you. Have a great day.